Okay, wake up everybody, because we are doing something a little different. This is a kind of rambly talky video. I'm calling it the final Switch 2 prediction. Yesterday, put out a little short, 5 predictions for the Switch 2. They were all mostly software based, some bonus stuff in there as well. But I wanted to throw this out here because it's 10 o'clock, the night before the Switch 2 Direct. We've got 8 hours. Is that right? 8 hours. I should get to bed until the Switch 2 Direct. And before we get all the info thrown at us, I wanted to make a prediction of something that I've actually been thinking was going to be a big feature for the Switch 2 that I don't think anyone's talking about. Not really. And doesn't have anything to do with the design of the Switch 2, ignore that, but is something that I feel Nintendo is going to want to position the Switch 2 as utilizing, because not only is it a thing that gaming has kind of adopted very enthusiastically over the last 10 years, but something that Nintendo has done before in a different way. In some ways failed at it, in some ways succeeded at it, but I think that they are in a great position to do this in the right way with the Switch 2. Now here I got 3 pictures. I got the classic Switch 2 docked mode, Switch 2 handheld mode, and these I couldn't find one with the Joy-Cons attached, and the Switch 2 tabletop mode. Those are the 3 Switch original modes. Now, I do believe that we could very well see a few more modes with the Switch 2. I think 2 modes at minimum are going to be stuff that they show off. Now, one thing, this is kind of a gag, but even that it could still happen, that I always kind of wanted was for Nintendo to make the Labo VR unofficial mode for Switch 2. And if you didn't know what this is part of the Nintendo Labo, that cardboard peripheral thing that they did back in like 2018, 2019, that they've completely stopped doing. They had a VR kit in one of them where you can put the Switch inside this cardboard headset and play VR games. Mario Kart had VR mode, Breath of the Wild had VR mode, Captain Toad, Mario Odyssey, Smash Ultimate. A lot of games had small little modes that you could do the VR with. Now, you had to keep the Joy-Cons attached to it because you had to hold the VR thing to your face, but I actually got a strap that attaches to the cardboard that lets you hold it onto your face without them, so then you can take the Joy-Cons off and play games normally. You can actually play all of Breath of the Wild in VR with this thing. It's kind of crazy. And I think that the Switch 2 could very well have I don't think this would come with the Switch 2, but something like a separate peripheral like the Switch Pro controller, but like a plastic shell casing that could turn it into basically a VR headset. I'm not fully committed to that idea because I think that sounds like a little too dream scenario. By dream scenario, I don't even think it's a dream scenario anymore because VR is kind of the era of VR kind of is over at this current moment. So I don't know if Nintendo would want to be pushing that too much, but maybe they have people who are like, oh no, I have had VR ideas for decades, and because I work at Nintendo, I can't actually do them. So you never know. So VR mode may be on the table. There is kind of the unofficial 4th mode from the Switch, which is the one where you lay it down flat on the table, and there's some Mario Party games that take advantage of that. I don't think I would count that as a full mode. There's also Taito mode, which is a vertical version of the Switch, which, if they were ever to do DS ideas, could be a very good solution for making that work. The next mode that I want to talk about, aside from a VR mode and the official Taito mode, is essentially a dual screen mode. So let me hide this version of it. Sort of looking like this. So pretend that the actual Switch 2 wasn't in this dock right now, but a way of playing the Switch 2 by connecting it wirelessly to the dock and projecting it onto the TV. Now, this is something that the PlayStation Portal, Steam Remote Play, a lot of remote play options. This is basically remote play. However, for Nintendo games, this could actually be a very good way of getting DS, 3DS, and Wii U game support onto a lot of these games, as well as making games with this sort of idea in mind. Now, I don't think this would be something that would be mandatory or a huge selling point for the console. It'd be something that would basically be for future game support for a lot of their older stuff, like specifically the DS line. But I could very well see Nintendo having a new line of games that specifically cater towards that asymmetric gameplay system, because this is essentially what the Wii U was with the tablet. However, this leads into the last mode, which is the biggest thing that I think the Switch 2 is going to be taking advantage of, and that is the fact that there are 150 plus million Switch 1s out in the wild. One of the big things they did with the Nintendo Wii was let all those 108 million Wii, all those 100 million plus Wiimotes that were out in the wild be used with the Wii U. I said 108 million Wiis. I just specifically mean the Wii remotes. But you could use the Wiimotes on the Wii U because you already had so many of them. It would have been such a pain in the ass to have to buy a bunch of Wii U Pro controllers just to play Mario Kart or Smash Bros. So they just let you use the Wiimotes that you've already had. And I think they're going to do the same thing with the Switch 2. Let me get my Switch photo here that I can load up. I'm going to make, oops, let me copy that. Come on. Paste. There we go. Now we have 4 Switches. So, you and your friends, you all have Switches right now. You all have tons of Joy-Cons, Pro Controllers. I assume the Joy-Cons and the Pro Controllers in the Switch 1 are usually just going to be connectable via Bluetooth. Oops, the cat's underneath my desk. Hello, cat. Sorry. I don't know if you can hear that jingling. That's my cat. One of the great things about the Wii U was the ability to use it for asymmetric gameplay. It's kind of the one tablet feature that truly was an advantage for the Wii U and not just a gimmick. Nintendo Land was probably my favorite Wii U game, if I'm being honest. It's one that I played throughout the life of the Wii U, start to finish. I had friends all throughout college coming over to my place wanting to play Nintendo Land. It was like legitimately like a defining game for my college years, strangely enough. And it's because those 3 mini games, the Animal Crossing Candy game, the Mario Chase game, and the Luigi's Mansion game, all utilize this really fun asymmetric gameplay with the person with the tablet and the 4 people with the Wiimotes. Now, because everyone has Switches, now all of a sudden everyone has access to their own screens. You have cell phones doing that as well. You can use the Switch 2s as well. Jackbox has been headlining the asymmetric gameplay genre for the last decade. It's one of the most popular franchises of games out there right now, super appealing to casuals. I know it's huge on the Nintendo Switch because I'm always, grabbing the Jackbox games. People are always asking hey, can we play Jackbox? Yeah, of course. I have it. I have literally all of them on my Switch. Not literally all of them. I have half of them on my Switch. So I think that Nintendo would really want to latch on to the fact that they have so many Switch 1s in the wild, and they can create gameplay experiences that utilize everyone having their own screen. It's something that not a lot of Nintendo games have taken advantage of. Obviously, there was Nintendo Land. New Super Mario Bros. U had the ability to create little blocks in the game. And then Mario Kart, you could play on the tablet. I had a friend who would always want to play on the tablet. Not because you could see your own screen. I'm pretty sure you still had split screen on the tablet. But just because that's the way they like to play, way close up. So, imagine they put out the new Star Fox game that I said they would in the prediction video yesterday. Imagine all 4 players each had their own R-Wing pilot. Plays Fox, Falco, Slippy, Crystal. Whichever. And then on the main screen, a fifth player was in control of the Gray Fox, the big Star Fox ship. And all 5 of you were able to play the game at the same time, each with your own screen, and being able to go on this huge mission like you're basically playing online, but it's all couch co-op. Nintendo loves couch co-op, and I feel like with Switch 2, they're not going to try to get rid of that experience. It's going to be something that is at the forefront of what they're making these games for, because with the more powerful Switch 2, all of a sudden, the ability to make split-screen games, the ability to make cooperative games becomes a huge, huge boon to the uniqueness of the console. Most consoles specifically are moving so far away from split-screen stuff. You have things like It Takes Two and Split Fiction being like the only things keeping split-screen co-op alive in the genre. And then there's Nintendo over here, which, you know, obviously has like Smash Bros. And Mario Kart and Mario Kart, all these great couch gaming experiences. Switch 2 can definitely be a new innovation in that space because of the Switch 1 and all these different consoles. And I'm sure plenty of other people can have plenty of other ideas. You can make an entire line of WarioWare, Mario Party, Mario Kart where everyone has their own screen. I'm not sure how you can use it for Smash Bros., but I'm sure someone could figure it out. I think it would give you an option for making 3D platformers that are cooperative. Because think about all the 3D platformers Nintendo's ever made. Galaxy, where you had the mode where someone could just be like a Luma grabbing stars. There's the Cappy mode in Odyssey. Wasn't there like a cooperative thing in Breath of the Wild, or am I just thinking about the Wolf Link thing? No, there wasn't a cooperative mode in Breath of the Wild. Splatoon had a really weird split screen mode. Just imagine actually being able to play these games in split screen, but not split screen. The split screens are the screens you have with you in front of your face. Now, this could have always been a thing with Switch 1. I think they could have always done this sort of thing with multiple people's Switches, and I think that's also a thing that they have in a lot of Switch 1s, but it's not something they advertise very well. Because I know you could do like local wireless games in Luigi's Mansion 3, is that right? Pokemon? Things like that? Oh, Pokemon are really cool. Yeah, imagine Pokemon like this, where you can run around the world and you're all in the same room, but you can all just see differently because you all have your different screens. That'd be amazing. This would be such a fun feature, and I really do think this is what is going to be a highlight piece for the Switch 2, and one of those like, here's why you want a Switch 2 for families. Families want a Switch 2 because you want this to be the centerpiece of your game experiences, while still being able to use all the Switches for this. People they want to make that step off for the Switch 2 as comfortable as possible, of being like, hey, all that money you spent on Switch 1, it's all going to come forward. The subscription you're paying for, it's all coming forward. All those games you paid for, those are all coming forward. The actual Switch consoles themselves, guess what? There's still tons of things to utilize for it. If you're a family, your games are going to be even better because you're keeping that Switch 1. You're keeping those subscription fees. Yum, yum, yum. Keep those family plans. Yum, yum, yum. That's what Nintendo loves. All those yummy subscription fees. Anyway, that's what I got. That's my idea, is the Switch 2 is going to utilize a... what would you call this? A network mode. No, network doesn't make sense. A tether mode. Tether mode, that's what you call it. Switch 2's tether mode, where you are tethering multiple Switches to a single dock and creating this brilliant line of asymmetrical multiplayer games on Switch 2. Only playable on Switch 2 because of how many people already have Switch 1s. Anyway, that's all. We're going to get a sequel to Ring Fit Adventure. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the morning. Bright 6 a.m. for the live reaction. Or later on YouTube Bots.